Good evening, everyone. Welcome to SHEMAKERS Live. Tonight, we are closing out our month-long celebration of mothers. In addition to that, we're going to celebrate and recognize the moms and women who give the ultimate sacrifice in performing service in our U.S. military. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hills and Helmets SHEMAKERS Live is a place where we have conversations to help women develop their playbooks to win in business and life. To do this, we discuss not only the victories, but also the fumbles, how we got back up and succeed. My name is Shavonna Williams. I am your hostess and the founder and CEO of Hills and Helmets. For more than 2 decades, I've worked in marketing and communications, in business, politics, and sports. 5 major sports leagues. Yes, I am a veteran in this game. You can imagine, I've been in some boardrooms where I was the only woman. Well, I'm working to change that. My goal is to get more women at the table with equal pay. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of incredible people who are not only killing the game, but share my passion to help women succeed. That's what I call a she-maker. They're not only killing it, like I said, but they also want to help others. They are committed to this show. And I am glad to have so many of them come join me and spend time with us to help you develop your winning playbooks. Tonight's SHEMAKER coach is Nikki Glanton. Let me introduce you to her. Nikki Glanton is the Chief Communications Operations for the U.S. Army Central. She also did a fellowship at the Atlanta Falcons, where I had a chance to work with her. She is a dynamic leader and very passionate about women. I can't wait for you all to meet her and hear her journey from being a soldier, communications executive, as well as a mom who raised 3 children. Everyone, please welcome tonight's SHEMAKER coach, Nikki Glanton.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you. It is so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. Can the people hear me out there?
I think
because
so.
Be sure to show up tonight.
Okay. They were really trying to steal our moment. I don't know if it was Firefox, Chrome, StreamYard.
Yeah.
But someone was trying to steal or dim our shine, and we were not having it. So thank you, everyone, for being patient with us. We're glad that you are still with us, and we're really excited about a good show. So drop us a comment, let us know where you're watching from, and include any questions that you have for our SHEMAKER coach this evening. Well, to get started, I want to go back to when the change agent was just 17 years old.
Ooh.
What was she doing then?
Not listening to my parents. Yeah, that's what the 17-year-old was doing. As a matter of fact, I got pregnant my senior year, and I was faced with a lot of adversity, So after having my child, when everyone else was walking the stage and going to college, I was giving birth. So a few years later, it took me a couple of years to recover from that, but I ended up joining the military in 2001.
Wow, 17, just in your senior year, you said?
Yes, it was a struggle. I am actually writing a story about that, about all the adversity that I dealt with when finding out I was pregnant. But you have to recover. You just got to keep on going.
Yeah. And what were some of the things that you did during that time to recover? Or was it a longer transition?
So I felt sorry for myself for a little bit. And then I realized that I need to get up and give my daughter what she deserved. And so I bust my butt to lose some weight, and I walked in a recruiting station and joined the military.
Were you thinking about the military prior to that?
Say again?
Were you thinking about the military prior to that?
Was I military prior to that?
Were you thinking about the military prior to having your daughter?
Did I think about going to the military prior to join the military? No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, I wanted to be a newscaster on CNN. I would go by the CNN Center in Atlanta and just dream about one day being a newscaster on television.
Oh my goodness. So this was really an audible for you.
Yes. And I actually joined the military as a logistician. I didn't go in doing exactly what I wanted. I just went in there for a paycheck. And 15 years later, I discovered my passion and ended up switching jobs to public affairs, which is communications, where I do marketing, branding, social media, digital, social media strategy, everything, all those things. And while working in my passion, I discovered myself and I was able to, just perform and take off. But there's a difference when you're working for the paycheck and when you're working, doing something fulfilling.
Ooh, yes. Say that, Nikki. Well, how did you discover public affairs?
I cannot hear you.
Technology is not being our friend. How did you discover your passion in public affairs? How did you discover your passion in public affairs?
Here we go. I can hear you now. I told you, Murphy is really trying to get to us today, but you know what? We're going to push through this.
Yes, I think it is because of the theme of the show. We knew we were going to talk about getting through battles, so they just wanted
exactly. So this is all planned. So just letting all the audience know this is planned. We want to show you exactly in real time how to push through those obstacles.
Exactly. When you're live in front of everyone, how you keep going.
Right. So if for the audience members, we have rigged this show really talking on the phone because I can't hear her. But You know what? We had to deliver this because what's important is getting this message out and inspiring people. That's all that matters. So we're hoping that despite the technical difficulties, you guys pick up something that we drop.
Yeah. And I'm sure they will. So let's just go back. You were telling the story about how you discovered public affairs after working in the military for 15 years. So almost 2 decades, a pretty long time. How did you get there?
It was. So I'll tell you a little story about my best friend. She found out that she was diagnosed with cancer. And so I went to her hospital bed, and I actually wrote a story about this. It's called Follow Your Heart, Not the Rank. But I went to her hospital bed, and at that time, she didn't want to talk about anything about her. She wanted to see how I was doing. I guess, some people are like that. When you're in pain, you push through life for other people. But she wanted to know how I was, how I was doing genuinely. And I told her I felt like I was going to work every day and I wasn't serving a purpose. I wasn't living out my purpose. I was earning a paycheck, but I wasn't living in purpose. Well, you have to call me again.
Should I text my questions?
Look, I can't see how many viewers are on here to see and let them know that I got to see who's on here because I got to give them a shout out. But thank you for hanging in there.
Yes.
Let me continue my story because this story is very near and dear to my heart. My best friend was diagnosed with cancer and she wanted to know how I was doing genuinely. And I told her that I felt like I was going to work every day, just earning a paycheck and not living with a purpose. Well, in walks one of her line sisters who happened to be public affairs. And she's like, hey, let me introduce you to my friend, Nikki. She majored in public relations and marketing, and I think she would be a great candidate for public affairs. So her line sister was a lieutenant colonel at the time. And she was like, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I did that. And then she asked me to send her my military resume, my fitness card, my weapons card, things like that. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I went right back to the office and I sent it to her, and they scheduled me for an interview. I interviewed for the to get endorsed. I interviewed to get endorsed, and right then and there, they were like, hey, she's perfect for this field. And it was in that moment that I felt like, oh my goodness, I feel rejuvenated again. Because mind you, when you're doing something for 15 years, things can become repetitive. You know, you can get compassion fatigue, things like that. Fatigue from doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm so grateful that I was given the opportunity to cross into public affairs, which happens to be the best job in the Army. That was a plug.
Right. If you didn't know, go ahead and tell them, Nikki, where can they enroll?
Go visit your local recruiter. You know, they're everywhere. They're probably calling your phone because we are doing a campaign right now. It's like Army Hiring 21 Days, where the Army is just talking about the benefits of joining the military. Yeah. I get free 100% tuition. You know, I got my bachelor's degree.
Thank you all for your patience. So we also wanted to make sure that we were respectful of you all listening and spending time with us. So our phones are on Do Not Disturb as we try to keep communication and get audio for you all.
Now, this is really weird. You know, here we are. We have cell phone service all the time.
All the time.
I can call you and speak to you clearly, but here we are on live. And not only the internet acts up, but then the phone acts up.
Exactly.
You know, I realized that when you go through struggles in life, usually there is a shining light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's a reason why we're having to push through this. And I'm hoping that despite these technical difficulties, you guys are sticking it in and catching the message.
I'm almost like, did I say DOD too much over the last couple of days?
Maybe so. We're thinking security is on our tail right now.
They're like, what's going on? All of a sudden, Shavana is talking about DOD quite a bit. She did have a contract at the State Department before, and now she just pops back up on the screen. What's going on?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, Nikki, thank you too for sticking with this and definitely pushing through. Want to hear your story. Even personally, I have only scratched the surface about your journey during our time when you were at the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm really curious about when you got that start and kind of like what steps you took to become really skilled.
So when you're working in your passion, when I left work, I didn't leave work. I'd stay at home and I'd constantly read, because when you're passionate about something, I believe in mastering that skill. And that's what I did. I just studied it all the time, over and over. And I looked up different opportunities. And that's where I stumbled across training with industry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I can't hear her if I take it off. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem.
I was trying to get some technical stuff. But yeah, when I was working in my passion, it was too easy for me to study on it. So landed the job at TWI, got a chance to work with people like you, seeing how it is in the civilian workforce, how you all handle business, marketing, communications. And it was a very great experience, learning experience. Before, when I joined the military, I thought that my success was based on how well I did in the military. But once I got to see what was outside on the civilian workforce, mind you, the military is only 2% of the US population. But when I had the opportunity to see what it is that you all are doing, I'm like, wow, there's opportunity outside of the military. And not, putting down my organization. I love my organization. I am a soldier for life. But part of branding that soldier is continuing on, taking off that uniform and showing the civilian workforce that, hey, these skills that we're learning as soldiers, they're beneficial in civilian workforce. Blending us together works. In the military, we're taught basic leadership. In the civilian workforce, I see that a lot of people are technical, right? They're very technical in their specific skills. But in the military, we are taught to do any job, adapt and overcome, and lead soldiers, lead people.
Oh, I thought my phone was going out. I was about to have a heart attack.
It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. We might have to do a do-over. Look, we definitely need to do a do-over.
Right. We definitely are doing a do-over in the stadium.
But the next time we're sitting on the heels.
That's what I just said, in the stadium. I call my studio the stadium. I want to follow up on what you said about the skills that you all learn in the military versus what civilians are taught in the workforce, and specifically just being a leader at any level. What are some things that you saw were missing from your corporate experience?
So I asked myself when I went out to TWI, I saw that the turnover rate was super high. People would get into positions, they'd stay 2-3 years, but then they'd leave and go to another organization. You're not really having a lot of longevity because you're constantly chasing the growth or the dollar. Yeah. So I had to ask myself, what keeps soldiers in an organization for 20 plus years, not receiving that high pay that you can get on the civilian side? Mm-hmm. It's the people, the experience. When you invest in the people in your organization, it gives people an experience. So when someone is offered a job of higher pay, they're like, I'm stress-free over here. I love the people here. I'm happy here. So that matters. I believe that you start branding from within versus concentrating on just outside, external. I mean, that's very important too, but focusing on internal, your team, that's what makes the company run.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I always say, no matter what industry you are in, your first customer is the associate. Yes. How do they feel about your culture? How do they feel about the brand? Because they are going to be the people who first authentically talk about it.
Right. I was so grateful that I was able to come work at AMB SE, well, Author M blank Sports and Entertainment. We say AMB SE and then people like, what is that? Right. But yeah, because the military is a value-based organization. And then when I went over to AMBSE, I learned that, hey, they have core values as well. I think that's very important, is establishing a set of values that you live by every single day. If you are doing anything or talking about anything and it doesn't align with those values, you are wrong. And when you establish that culture, it just changes everything. It makes everything better.
Well, you definitely brought a lot of good energy and good ideas to AMBSE. I remember when you did your presentation on mental toughness. Can you give our audience a sneak peek of that?
Ooh. So let me tell y'all the story. Here I am, a fellow, right? And guess who is my direct mentor? The CEO of AMBSE, Steve Cannon. I schedule an office call. I go in there and he's giving me like a quarterly counseling, just kind of finding out what are some things I'm learning. What can he do to help me? And I was like, well, I was telling him all that. And then I was like, what can I do to help you? And he's like, you have a lot of experience in leading people. Maybe you can give us some kind of like leadership class or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I am a single mother of 3. I have 5 deployments. I've attained my degree. I'm mentally tough. Let's do that. So that's how that came across. He was like, yeah, lunch is on me. I'll buy the lunch. You just teach the class. And so I taught master resiliency skills. Those are a set of skills that we learn in the military to stay focused on the task. Because you have to think productive thoughts. Even when you're caught up in a crisis or something happens that's unplanned, like all this technical difficulties, you have to stay focused on the task. Remember your why. Our why is delivering this message. Our why is inspiring others. Our why is raising awareness. And so when you stay focused on that, it's a lot easier. You're not so upset when things go wrong like this.
Right. And it comes from going through some things as well. Like you said, someone who's been through 5 deployments, raised 3 children by herself, I'm sure a little technical difficulties does not, ruffle your feathers. You're like, I've been through much worse.
Yes. It was totally tough being in a male-dominated organization as a woman. I'll tell you a story. When I had my second child, my son, I began breastfeeding because I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to bond with him. So I breastfed him knowing that I was about to deploy in exactly 16 weeks. Because back then in 2002, the Army would deploy a mother 4 months after giving birth. Imagine that, having to leave my child at 4 months. I will say that because of people speaking up, not just women, but men as well, speaking up on behalf of the mothers in the military, now female soldiers are able to bond with their children for 1 year before even deploying.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes. Steps, baby steps.
But we're still, grateful for the baby steps. And I think that every step has to be celebrated.
Most definitely. And like I said, it's not just women fighting on behalf of women. We got to get out of that.
Yeah.
It takes the people at the table, males, to speak up and say something. Don't just allow us at the table, but empower us to say something. Value the input that we bring to the team.
Yeah.
That is inclusion.
Exactly. And you're definitely right. We cannot do this work in a silo. We need other people. And that's why I say for SHEMAKERS, it's not just women. It is men and women, really anyone who wants to help a woman succeed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, you need to fight for us like your daughter's life depended on it.
Mm-hmm. Because it does.
Because it does.
Because it does. Or your granddaughter, it's
exactly. Yes, I am somebody's grandma, by the way.
Well, I'm sure that was really difficult and emotionally just draining. How did you make preparations to leave your child at just 4 months and not going around the corner?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I became emotionally numb. I didn't face my inner self because I knew if the longer that I lingered inside my emotions, the longer I would go without accomplishing things. And my babies needed me. I am the sole provider of my children. So I had no choice. Thank God I have supportive parents, supportive family who were there for me, who helped take in my children. I have really great friends. You know, I remember when I was trying to go for my degree, I had to sometimes bring my daughter in the class with me. You know, there's lots of struggles. And when you're working with other males who happen to have spouses at home, who are cooking dinner, who are taking care of the children, who are scheduling the doctor's appointments and things like that. And here I am trying to compete with those fellow males for those leadership positions. And I have to always be considerate about my children's schedule first before my own. And so I grew numb. You know, the bond, you spell love T-I-M-E. That's how you spell love. And I wasn't spending that time with my children. So I felt like I wasn't loving them in the capacity that they deserve. But that's why you have your backup. You have your parents, you have your family, you have your friends, your support system. That's why they're called your support system, because they filled that in while I was absent. And now that I am 20 years in the military, I'm able to spend more time with my children.
That's a blessing.
It is.
Well, it's really interesting to me as you were just talking through the emotion you felt in leaving your children. And I was just thinking, that was your why.
That's my why.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have to remember the why. I remember when I was in Iraq and bullets started flying. It was just, I was really scared. You know, you train for this stuff all day, all the time. But when you're actually in a situation, it's like, really? Like, I feel like I'm in a dream. But I had my kid's picture taped to the Humvee, and I just looked at it. You know, I made sure I looked at it because I had to push through. I had to make it home. They were my reason why. Yeah. And now that I have matured a little bit more, a lot more, I hope, my why comes from within. It's not only external, it's an internal thing too.
What is your why now?
Ooh, my why is I want to leave an impact. I want to impact as many people as I can, and I want to clear pathways for others who come after me. I want to be able to empower others to be their authentic selves. I believe that you should be able to be your authentic self on or off duty. If I have to put on a face to come to work, then guess what? I don't align with your values or your culture. I think it needs to be a good fit. You know, I should be able to be myself. And if this organization wants me, then they're like, hey, we need Nikki G on our team. She's a perfect culture fit. I wouldn't want to put on another face. So I believe that people should be their authentic selves. And that means that people must raise awareness and educate themselves on the different cultures, the different races, different religions out there. You must raise awareness and not be afraid to have those discussions. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. If you don't know, ask the question. You don't have to ask it in a public, environment. You can ask one-on-one, but to just learn about each other and be inclusive. I mean, that's my thing. That's one of my goals. I really want to clear pathways for others and make things easier by speaking up, even when it's the unpopular choice.
I guess that's part of being the adult change agent.
Yes, change agent. Hashtag change agent. Hashtag Nikki G.
Tell everyone what the change agent is working on.
Okay, so what is the change agent working on right now? First of all, do they even know what a change agent is?
Back it on up.
Okay, so a change agent would have to be like a visionary. They have to see this, have this vision. They're unafraid to ask the tough questions. They have the ability to strategize and manage the execution to raise effectiveness in any organization. They're great at building relationships, and they're patient and open-minded people. That's what a change agent is. So what is this change agent doing now? Well, I just found out that I'll be recently promoted to Master Sergeant. And Thank you. Thank you. I'll be staying at U.S. Army Central until next fall, but come this February, my name will go into the marketplace and organizations will be able to choose me and bring me on their team. So look out for Master Sergeant Nikki Glanton. If you want me on your team, you better pick me, preference me.
Into the draft. So what are you doing in your personal combine then? Up, sir. Oh my gosh. One for the books.
We were doing so well.
So well. So well.
It was clear. It was clear. We're definitely going to have to do a do-over.
Oh my gosh. Definitely. So many people are still watching. Thank you.
Are they? Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. I really appreciate y'all sticking it in.
I appreciate your patience. It just shows how good this is, too. This is valuable. Well,
I have lots of supporters out there, so thank you so much for showing love. I can't see who's there, but if you are there, shout me out, leave a little message, screenshot, take a picture of me on here, tag me, something, let me know you're there.
Show you all this love.
Yes.
Well, before we got disconnected again, you were talking about companies being able to draft you. So what are you working on in your personal combine?
Ooh, I love that you're saying they get a chance to draft me. I love the play on words here.
Come on, we're on SHEMAKERS.
yes, this is fun. So right now, I'm just working on branding myself in and outside of the military. When transitioning from the military workforce to the civilian workforce, I'm well known in the military, but I have to be well known out there too. So you hustle. There's a meme that goes around that says, hustle so hard that you no longer have to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
That's the goal right here. I want to keep on saying Nikki G, Nikki G, Nikki G so many times that people there's name recognition there. And when you recognize the name, the brand comes with it. Leadership, team building, helping others, inspiring people, and I want that brand to go along with that name. So that's what I'm working on right now. And also my master's in business administration, which is taking forever because I write in the Army. I'm working on co-authoring a book, doing lots of writing right now. So writing papers for school is kind of difficult.
Just have several things on your plate.
Yes. I tend to do that. If I don't want to put too many things on my plate. I know my limit, but there's a goal here that I'm trying to achieve. And you have to be consistent. You have to be.
Yeah.
You cannot pick up the momentum and then drop it and give up. Because most people, sometimes they get all the way to the end and it gets too hard and they give up right when they're about to cross that line. And that's when you should be digging deep and pushing through. In the military, we say, suck it up and drive on.
Yeah. Any personal experience where you look back and say, man, I was close. Why did I give up?
Ooh, me giving up? Okay, I give up on my diet every week. I don't know. I I start every Monday. And for those who know me, they're probably laughing because I'm always starting a diet and I'm quitting. So there you go. But then I get back up again and I start all over. So I don't know if that's quitting. But, if you start quitting now, that becomes a habit. And you don't want to start those habits. Just be consistent. If you have to slow down, slow down. And we do physical fitness training every morning in the military. And when we're out there running and our formation takes off and you're running behind, guess what? Someone's yelling at you. Keep running. Don't stop. No walking. Well, there is a message behind that. Yeah. Because no matter if your organization, your formation went ahead of you, you have to keep on going. Eventually you'll make it to the finish line. It might not be when everyone else makes it there, but you'll make it there right on time for you. Yeah. Just keep going.
Well, that's the importance of a village. You talked earlier about your supportive family and network of friends who were really there for you when you had to leave your children for deployment. And even with the fitness, exam that you all do every day, those cheers keep you going.
Right. They do. And I want to make my parents proud. They have really sacrificed so much for me. And getting pregnant at the young age of 17, I was pride and joy of my father.
Yeah.
So to find out that I'm pregnant, what? So I feel like I really want to give them something to be proud of. I remember when I found out I was pregnant, I started slacking in my grades. And I actually failed my class with a 69. Back then, 70 was a D, 69 was an F. And I failed my senior year with a 69 in chemistry. And while everybody else was walking across that stage, I sat at home crying with a baby in my belly and my cap and gown hanging in the closet. Wow, I felt so low. I felt like I wasn't good enough, like I needed to bounce back. So I promised myself that I would no longer give anyone the power ever to control my future. No procrastination. Stay on it. And that's what drives me to be the way that I am. Not only did my parents see me walk the stage once, but they see me walk the stage twice in college. And now I'm working on a third one.
Good for you.
Yes.
So as the Chief of Communications Operations and a resiliency coach, what would you tell that 17-year-old Nikki?
Ooh, budget your energy, because finances ain't the only thing that require budgeting. I'd say be kind, because when I was 17, you're still trying to discover yourself. So you kind of want to be cool, or, you want to hang with certain people. Hi, mom and dad. Aw, she just commented. Hi, mom. Enjoy the present moment. A lot of people just focus on tomorrow or yesterday. Yesterday causes anxiety or depression. I'm sorry. Thinking about yesterday causes depression. Thinking about tomorrow causes anxiety. There's so much power in now. I'd say be consistent and keep learning. Yeah. You should never, ever get to a point where you stop learning.
What's something that you want to make sure your children learn from you?
To have grit. You don't have to be the smartest or the best or the fastest, but just have that grit. Don't give up. Be consistent.
What are just some things that when you look back?
Hi, Brittany. I'm just saying hi to everybody. I'm so sorry. Hey, y'all.
Thinking about between actually being on the battlefield. We use it figuratively often in business, but you have actually been on the battlefield. And of course, as the only woman in a lot of environments in reference to your work, your professional work in the military. And then, of course, raising your children. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? That changes with time. You know, I have different things that I'm most proud of. Today, I'm proud that I walked into the mental health clinic and asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
I have been numb, like I said before. I have been avoiding my inner self, and it took
Stay with us, good people. So appreciate your patience. You see, technology is just not being our friend today. And we have tried everything to make sure that we still deliver this show to you all today. Give us 1 second. Let's see if we can at least get Nikki back on camera. Meanwhile, while we are waiting for Nikki, please go ahead and drop any questions regarding mental toughness, getting through difficult situations, or anything about Nikki's journey that you've heard so far into the comments. Okay. I no longer see you. I think we have her back. I think we do.
Do you see me?
Okay, hey guys. So this is totally on me with this laptop thing, because like everything else, you think you can go mobile. You know, you carry this device around and you're hoping that you can do all things with it. Well, not the app that Siobhan uses. She happens to use an app that only allows Chrome and Firefox. Who does that? Everybody knows you got to be team iPhone and do Safari. Come on now.
And I'm doing this. Look, and I'm doing this on a Mac with my iPhone and an iPad and my Apple Watch and my Apple TV, and I have a product that doesn't use Safari.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
We really need to talk to the developer.
Okay.
About this.
Yes, you heard from me.
Well, thank you again for the audience, the members who are still there watching. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. Again, this is about pushing through those obstacles, staying mentally tough, being focused on the objective.
And keeping a great attitude while doing it.
That's it. Productive thoughts only.
Yeah.
No negative energy.
Yeah. Can you go back and explain what you mean when you say budget your energy?
Ooh. Budgeting your energy. When you are a giving person and you have this happiness, you want to share it. Love is something that you want to share with others. Happiness is something that you want to share with others. But what I learned is that not everyone deserves that energy. Sometimes people's pain bodies cause them to act in a negative manner. And you have to ask yourself, am I going to change who I am and allow them to affect how I act? Yeah. Heck no. But this is the 40-year-old Nikki G talking. This is not the 20-year-old Nikki G talking. You know, when I was 20 years old, you know, I felt like I needed to speak up and say something every time someone said something that upset me. My dad, I remember him saying, Nicole, that's what he calls me. Nicole, you have to learn how to pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
And that was a struggle for me because I seen him advocate on behalf of the people all the time. So I felt like, oh, heck no, even if it didn't have anything to do with me, if I saw something wrong, I spoke up. And today you just can't do that. You have to figure out a way to communicate with people effectively. And again, focus on your objective, focus on your why. If my why is getting to point B, then what do I have to do? You know, if that means I have to adjust the word or two, you know, or smile and just say, okay, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's a safety issue. If it's a safety issue, you're speaking up.
Yes.
Because everybody is a safety.
Definitely. But it's understanding your audience. How you would deliver a message to your parents is different than delivering a message to, let's say, the president of the United States. Very different than delivering a message to some high school students. So understanding who you're talking to and how it's going to resonate with them is very important.
Very, very important. Funny that you brought that up because I am a communicator. I believe I've mastered how to effectively speak with everyone except my family. It's like my family can get under my skin so easily. But since, I guess February, I've been meditating. So that helps a lot.
That is too funny. I was going to see if your mom was going to comment on that at all.
Oh, she'll probably comment. Mom, did you hear what I said?
Well, I have a good question here. So I want to go over to the comments for questions.
Okay.
First one is, how do you address the issue of mental toughness with today's youth, whose experiences are a bit different, because of social media?
So I'm dealing with that right now. I have a 12-year-old daughter, and at that age, they're still trying to figure out who they are. Who am I without mommy? And it's hard for me to talk with her like a big girl. I always end up talking to her in baby language, like treating her like a baby. But I guess all you have to do I'm trying to just speak life into her. You are beautiful. You are smart. You can do it. And we have this little pact that whenever she says anything negative about herself, she has to knock out 3 push-ups.
Oh.
That way that she catches herself. You can't take away those pain bodies, but what you can do is learn about yourself, learn what triggers you, and catch yourself. So I guess the whole point of me making her do those push-ups is so she can be consciously aware of what she is saying about herself. So by the end of the day, she's like, dang, my arms hurt. I do talk negatively about myself all the time. Because nowadays you look at social media, everyone has a filter. Heck, I love my Snapchat filters. I don't even know how to use Snapchat, but I just go there for the filters. Right. And you're thinking that that's how you have to look because you're comparing yourself to what they have going on. I just try to pour love. I mean, that's all you can do. Meditate, pray on it, do whatever you have to do, and hope that whatever you instilled in them, it will eventually come out. Because I did not listen to my parents initially. No. But I heard everything that they said, which means that now, today, I'm saying the same things that they said to me, to my children. So how do I address the issue of mental toughness or with today's youth? I just speak life into them constantly.
with a little bit of military mixed in there. Those push-ups, man.
With some push-ups. Yeah. I hope that answered your question, Shanta.
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 That's my sister.
Oh, that's your sister. Hi, sister. Sister.
And Brittany has a question for you as well.
Okay.
She says she's also a single military mom, and she's been in the Army 8 years, currently in college going green to gold.
Wow.
Okay, when you answer the question, you'll have to explain to everyone who is civilian what green to gold is.
Okay.
But her question is, how did you persevere through the challenges as a female leader competing against male soldiers?
Ooh. First, congratulations for going green to gold. And Shavana, green to gold is when you're going from, you remember I was teaching you about the pay grades, enlisted corps?
Yes.
Okay. Then you cross over to go to the commissioned officer corps, like just lieutenants, that captains, majors, lieutenant colonels. So you go from sergeant or specialist or something on the enlisted side, and you go over to commission. And you have to submit a packet and compete. So that's why I'm saying congratulations, Brittany, on this accomplishment. So how did I persevere through the challenges as a female leader competing against male soldiers? I bust my butt. I trained. I studied. I figured out what made me, me. Because I can't be the best version of them. I have to be the best version of myself. So once I figured that out, I'm going back to the sentence. I discovered my skill, my talent, and then I mastered it. And once you master that, that's how you stay up there. Mm-hmm. You brand yourself. Don't worry about being like them. I will say fitness in the military is very important. So you have to stay fit, you know, but there were times where, like when I went to PLDC, which is a leadership course, when you're crossing the ranks from just being a subordinate to your first step in being a leader. It's like your first line supervisor, you know, your first supervisor job. I remember getting ready to go on a ruck march, 12-mile ruck march. And they're handing out the weapons, and this male hands me this M249 saw, heavy, right? And mind you, you have to carry this weapon the entire time during the ruck march. Well, I knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to break me. But I bust my butt throughout that ruck march, and I held on. My wrist was hurting, my shoulder was hurting, everything was hurting. But because I had grit, I didn't give up. My teammates saw that, and then they started coming over to me and switching out weapon systems with me to help me out. So that's how I persevered through. I discovered my talent, mastered it, and I didn't give up. Hope that answers your question, Brittany.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I cannot believe that even with all of the stuff that we faced this evening, that we are almost at time. Like, where did it go? But I'm not, because I know that we're getting a do-over. So
we're getting a do-over. Yes.
Look forward to not only another conversation, but also seeing us in person, or seeing us in person together.
Right.
Doing it in the stadium.
Yes.
And it is going to be fabulous.
Yes, it is. I will come back to Atlanta to sit in those heel chairs.
Yes. I'm dying to get someone in the chairs. So I've been like, oh my gosh, stupid COVID.
Yes. Just let me know whenever. And hey, I want to say a big shout out to my brother, Mike Glanton, for setting this up for me. I have been a hot mess, and he has been responsive to me. He owns Atlanta Production Factory in Atlanta. So huge shout out to him. It's a one-stop shop for Creative House.
Oh, I'll have to visit you, Mike.
Yes, you have to come and check it out. I mean, you can come here, record your album, shoot your video, take your picture for your album cover, do a podcast, make some apparel. It's a creative house, a huge factory that you can do things on. So huge shout out to my brother, Mike Glanton, and the Atlanta production factory staff.
I will be at the factory soon.
Yep. Please do come.
For season 2, we're already working on our theme song. The writer actually sent over the lyrics last week, so some fun stuff coming up, and we'd love to definitely check out your brother's studio.
Okay, let me know if you need a rapper.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Well, you can't go yet because we, of course, have to do our 3 statements, and we have another question from you.
Okay.
I think it's Jawan. I hope I am pronouncing that right. If not, forgive me.
Hey,
she wants to know, what advice do you have for the type of person who does not have an outgoing personality such as yours? Someone who is comfortable being a quiet professional.
I think that, thank you for your question. I think this world needs balance. Imagine a whole bunch of me running around or a whole bunch of you running around. Like, we balance each other out. And I feel that's needed because sometimes I may be all over the place where it's hard for me to focus in on one thing because I'm talking so much. I'm outgoing, I'm constantly moving. Whereas I have a battle buddy who is a little bit more to herself. You know, she's probably more focused in and able to see things. And that's what makes a team. You have to play on each other's strengths. So I don't look at having an outgoing personality, what do you call it, introvert personality or extrovert personality as a weakness. It's all strengths. You have to have balance. Yeah. So I really, no advice. Be you. Genuinely, be you. And that's one of the things, one of my goals is to work so hard on just being myself in and out the uniform that it empowers others to just do the same. You be the best version of yourself. That's the advice I have.
Well, to wrap that up, please share with us what is the most essential note that our listeners and viewers have to put in their playbooks.
So I wrote this down. Budget your energy. Be kind. Enjoy the present moment. Be consistent and keep learning.
Awesome. Okay. Before I let you go, you know I have to do this, don't you?
Okay, be easy. Be easy on me.
I know you like to get down at the family gathering.
Oh, gosh.
Full jam. Do you have to get on the dance floor for?
Before I let go. Hey. Either version. It can be the old version, the Beyonce version.
Anyone.
Both versions. I'm out there.
Okay, the next one is, girl, I put my kids to shame doing this TikTok challenge.
Ooh. First of all, I put them to shame every time. But I think I put them to shame when I acted like Cleo off of Set It Off.
Oh, wow.
This is when COVID first, when we first had to quarantine in the homes. Mm-hmm. I was so bored because I'm a huge social person that I started creating videos. And I remade the scene when Cleo was driving the car, and she gets shot up. Oh, man, this is so violent. This is totally against my the vibe I'm trying to put out right now. Like I played a gangster.
I guess
on TikTok.
You didn't have any PTSD from you, huh?
I also do a really good Mary J. Blige impersonation dancing.
Okay. Oh, Mary J. Blige, one of her songs is like one of I have several like theme songs, but
yes,
definitely one of them.
Just Fine is the anthem.
The anthem, for real.
Yes, that song come on, everyone. All the ladies are on the dance floor.
And then my final statement for you is, I am mentally tough, but there are times when I am even challenged. During these times, I go to this favorite book, quote, or song.
Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I go to that.
Awesome.
It puts me in a place where I'm reminded that I need to focus on right now. Am I hurt right now? Can I breathe? Can I see? What am I dealing with right now? And so that's why I always go back to that, because remember, when we focus on yesterday, we tend to have depression. When we focus on tomorrow, we tend to have anxiety. And so I try my best to be reminded. I have to remind myself to focus on the now.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nikki.
You're welcome.
With me. This was so much fun. I mean,
It was crazy.
It was crazy, but so much fun. And I am grateful you always say your energy is your superpower. Well,
yes.
Your superpower definitely helped get us through this evening.
Yes.
All this energy that people see, we still are people who want to get it done and get it done well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me out.
Of course. And hey, don't forget, we're doing this again. I don't even know.
We have to.
A little delayed. Well, thank you. And thank your brother for me. And I will see you tomorrow, madame.
Okay. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye, y'all. It's Nikki G signing out.
See you later.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much for sticking with us tonight. It was still a really great show, despite StreamYard, Verizon, Comcast, whoever, trying to dim our little shine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have further questions, definitely send us an email or drop them on our social media pages. This wraps up our month of May with celebrating mothers. You guys, like I said at the beginning of this month, are champions and our first coaches. You're always there for us. We love you and appreciate you so much. I think that it is just amazing what we've learned over the last month, from my conversation with my own mother to college academic advisor who became my college mom. Also last week with Janelle, and just speaking about mothers in the workplace and the tools that she is working with companies to get. And then of course tonight with Miss Nikki G. What a phenomenal story. I am just amazed looking at her and how she persevered, becoming a teen mother and then going to the military, and just the adversity she faced in the military. And certainly wish her well on her next journey as she moves into the next phase, which will be as a civilian, but we'll see who will draft her. As we head into June, get excited for Women's Golf Month, as well as the celebration of Title IX. We have some phenomenal guests coming up who work in the sport of golf, including Patrina King, who championed Women's Golf Day in the state of Georgia, and Allison Fillmore, who is the Vice President and Executive Director for the PGA Tour Championship. Thank you all so much again for being with us tonight. Make sure that you subscribe and get into the huddle with us, because a lot of fun things are coming up. And when you're in the huddle, that's where you'll get news first, exclusive news on our upcoming events, as well as our guests, and then discounts on retail as well as the events. So make sure you subscribe and get in the huddle with us. Until next week, remember, you are a she-maker, and I am here to help you unleash your power, make big plays, get in the end zone, and win. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.